Welcome to the Crypto Mobcast, hosted by me, a sexy hot female from the UK.
So Andy, how are you after finishing night shift?
Not too bad, mate, actually. Managed to get about 3 or 4 hours in, so I'm not too bad now.
I remember the days.
You never get used to doing night shift. I've done them for 8 years now, and you never ever seem to get used to them.
No, I agree.
Not feeling too bad. Ready for a few beers this afternoon.
Beers are always good.
Yeah, when you've not had a chance when you've been on nights for the last 4 days, so yeah. Lockdown beers are pretty much integral nowadays, aren't they?
Yeah, I think. Well, I'm surprised. The supermarkets have still got certain things in the beverage aisle, so to speak. But anyways,
Now, it's time for Would You Rather?
long and hard about this one, and I think it's quite a good one. Would you rather fuck a cow and no one know about it, or would you rather not fuck a cow but everyone thinks you did?
Wow. God, I mean, if everybody knew,
You'd be the cow fucker
it'd be quite
of the
embarrassing.
village.
But
Would be.
I'd rather do it and not know, because I mean, it's a shag at the end of the day, isn't it? If people knew and you had no way of proving not, then why you might as well have the deed done, aren't you?
Well, personally, I wouldn't give a shit what people think. Like now, I'm getting trolled left, right, and centre by absolute knobheads, and I think, well, fuck you, I don't care. Like, I'd rather not get me bollocks wet by a cow.
I think it's be quite a task anyway trying to get it done, wouldn't it? You'd have to get a set of step ladders.
And you'll have to get something, yeah, Christ.
Yeah, that's my problem. I need to stop thinking what people think about me. That's probably what we're going to get out of this, don't we?
I think that's what everyone needs to think about, is stop thinking what people don't.
Yeah, concentrate on yourself and then take it from there.
Yeah, I agree. Anyways, moving on from shagging cows, shall we talk about the news?
This week's news and what's hot, other than me.
Yeah, so recently we've not had much this week. One piece of news which took my eyes. Well, yeah, it's all been focused on one main thing, but we'll come on to that in a minute. But the one thing that stuck out at me is a little bit of news from Telegram. I'm not sure if everyone else is aware, but they're in the process of creating their own token called TON, which stands for Telegram Open Network. There's been a little bit of news recently saying that people aren't happy because they did an ICO back in, I believe it was 2018. They raised 1.7 billion and still nothing has been done on this project. There's been calls by Bitcoin people so Mike Novogratz is the CEO of crypto merchant bank Galaxy Digital. He's saying why don't you just do away with it and just solely have a platform for using Bitcoin and Ethereum on Telegram. There's literally no need to have your own coin, which I kind of understand really. I mean, there's that many coins out there now. What is it? If you go into CoinMarketCap and you go down list to, I mean, I've not looked for a while, but last time I looked, it was above 2,000, and it just increasing all the time. And we don't need more cryptos, do we? We just need to harness and make better use of the ones that we've got out right now, in my opinion.
With Telegram, you can put like tipping bots in it and stuff, and you can use whatever. Well, not every token, but you can use whatever. So we've got one in ours. We don't really use it. It's Parjar or something like that.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Stuff in that, and you can tip people for doing stuff. And like, I think he's right. I think you don't need another token. It's just going to be like everything else, where they're a crypto company. Oh, let's make a token. Because why not? I can. Like, we could do one. We can make a mob coin, but it's absolutely pointless, and there's no point doing it.
It's so easy to now create an ERC20 coin. Easy. You can create your supply, and you can go on a website. I'm not sure what the exact website is, but you can go on. You pay about $30 or $40, and you get your own. You can get a mintable or a static supply of ERC20 tokens, and it's done in literally minutes.
It's meant on it. That's crazy.
It is. I mean, we could have one tomorrow. Could have Mobster coin, but who the fuck's going to use it?
Well, no one. There's no point of it. That's what I mean. Like, there's a lot of companies that are making coins for absolutely just marketing purposes or fundraising purposes, which don't really well, they do work, but in some ways it's like pointless, because if with Telegram you could literally integrate Bitcoin payments and, well, you'd probably argue maybe not Bitcoin payments, but you could integrate at least Ethereum in there, just for use case and rewards and stuff like that. So I don't know. I just find it odd that they want to create 1.8 billion worth of freaking equity into building a token that realistically is not going to enhance them massively.
It's not. What they could do is, it was saying we've got 400 million users Telegram. They could use that amount of people and get them into Bitcoin or Ethereum, because that would just massively pump the market up for that, wouldn't it? I mean, the use case there would be extraordinary.
It would be, but well, I don't know. It depends how easy it is. If there's a portal on Telegram to allow you to not so much store but use your bits and bobs of whatever you've got, it'd be pretty easy. It'd be pretty good as well. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how it would work, or if it would work, or what. But I think if you're using existing platforms to have the use case of the established coins, it makes it easier for the market to be adopted, in my view.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, let's move on past that. So, quite a little bit of interesting. The data shows that Ethereum is better money than Bitcoin. So just some key takeaways from this. Analysing the top 10,000 Ethereum addresses shows that Ethereum has significant transaction volume compared to that of Bitcoin. 16% of Ether in circulation has been actively used in the past 90 days, compared to just 0.3% for Bitcoin. And more than half of Bitcoin hasn't moved in over a year, and a fifth of it hasn't moved in over 4 years. So it just shows how many people are sitting on that, and that percentage works out to Ethereum has been used 440 times more per day than Bitcoin. That is,
I think
a lot.
That people have lost a lot of their Bitcoin as well,
and not be able to access it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if you knew about it back in 2013 and you bought, I don't know, 100 quid's worth. How many big BTC would that have been? It would have been a few thousand, wouldn't it?
It would have been easily 500 plus.
Yeah, and then you forget about it, or you throw your computers away, you throw the hard drives away, you lose it, or whatever happens, and that's it, gone, isn't it? So there could be a lot there. Like it's saying, what did it say? More than half of Bitcoin hasn't moved in a year. A fifth hasn't moved in 4 years. So if you've been on it for 4 years, you'll have held it from a cheap price up to 20k and not taking it out. So that, it really shows that it could have been lost.
Yeah, it could have been lost, but also you've got the element that a lot of people buy Bitcoin as it's obviously perceived as a store of value. They want to hold it. All the top wallets, the top 10% essentially, are always trying to accumulate. They're always increasing. I don't know. I think it's an odd one with Bitcoin because it's so old. You're going to have those wallets that are going to be dormant. Imagine having a wallet sitting there for 5 years and not moving. It's like, what? But you got to remember as well, the characteristics of Bitcoin, it's slow. It's not ideal. It's not perfect. You could say the same for Ethereum on its current scalability scale, that it's only 15 transactions per second, all kinds of shit like that. But it's a problem where a lot of new people are coming into the market now, but they're only like literally putting the feet in. They're only putting $100 in. And that annoys me as well in some ways. Not so much annoys me. I'm a big fan of risk management and don't risk what you can't afford, all that kind of bollocks. But ultimately, people are like, oh my God, Bitcoin, I'm going to make a load of money. It's not going to make you an overnight millionaire if you put $100 in Bitcoin at $9,000. It's not. If you, however, went into a time machine and went back to 2013, the whole environment was fuck, I've either got to mine this or buy this from some sketchy person with a baseball bat. It's a bit weird. So a lot of people didn't do it. And with Ethereum, we've got that element now that, yeah, Ethereum is really easy to access, really easy to get, and it also has more multiples. So I don't know, it's a weird one with Ethereum because I think over time that will probably change as well. I think that will turn out to become the decentralized application platform, not so much a payment mechanism. I think the likes of XRP would become that payment mechanism. So I still think we've got to adapt, but I think people going to Bitcoin as a store of value is kind of showing that only so much has been spent as money and moved around and stuff. So it's kind of interesting in a way.
It is, yeah. I agree with you as well. That I think it's going to be all geared towards Ethereum over the next few years. I think it might just gradually just start edging above Bitcoin in the long term and see how it goes from there. But yeah, right, I'll can that one. So Bitcoin miners usually create 6 blocks per hour, and they've just banged out 16.
Wow.
In an unusual deviation from the normal, Bitcoin miners just produced 16 blocks in 63 minutes, according to a Blockstream Bitcoin Block Explorer. 4 of the new blocks were reported within 46 seconds. So, reading into a bit, each new Bitcoin block is produced every 10 minutes on average. And what did that say? That's created 4 in 46 seconds. It just seemed very unordinary. The exact time required to produce a new block can vary significantly and depends in part on the current mining difficulty level, which adjusts every 2016 blocks or approximately once every 2 weeks. Makes you wonder if they can produce that just randomly at will, and then rest of the time it's taking 63 minutes. It's strange, isn't it?
There's definitely been there's a lot of news articles at the minute about, you know, the simple lines of how much has actually been moved around in terms of people going from Bitcoin Cash into SV into Bitcoin, the miners moving around. And it's interesting because when you cast your mind back a few months, the algorithm, not so much an algorithm, but the projected sort of use case that Bitcoin would have, it would have already halved by now based off that current rate, but it slowed down for a bit. Obviously, other halvings have taken place with Bitcoin Cash. So it looks like we will get the halving probably a little bit earlier if that's happened. It just depends over the next week or so how many will, how many could that yield as well. There could be some more little, not so much glitches in the matrix, but
It
a lot of
basically is, isn't
people.
it? That's what it seems like. It seems like a glitch, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a weird one because it should automatically be systemized anyways, and that's why we know predictions. But like I say, like we've had predictions in the past where it's kind of been a bit off. It's always estimated because different mining things and protocols happen, and they can move it around a little bit, but not much, not much to unsettle the network. But it makes you wonder what would happen if Bitcoin forked again, and it's so many different options with Bitcoin to improve it. I just don't know whether they'll ever do it in terms of the protocol of like the 10-minute blocks and the block sizes and all kinds of stuff. But halving is always going to be interesting every single 4 years, and that scarcity number is going to come in, and that's why people are getting excited. And in my view, I think it's an excitement that is post-event, not pre-event. Well, not so much pre-event, but at the event. I think people are going to get possibly upset when it halves, and a lot of people are here now because of halving, because they've been told X, Y, and Z about halving, what the results are. But we don't know what's going to happen. Like, you can't go off previous results to give you future predictions, essentially. So if you're new to the world of crypto and you're like, oh, halving's cool, I'm going to make money, just be careful.
It's predominantly over the previous year. It's been a very bearish event. So going into it, they have had a slight increase on the way in, but leading out of it for coming up to 3 months, it drops, doesn't it? And people are unaware of that.
Yeah, it's definitely like it's a slow burner because you've got to think in the minds of a large miner. What will they do? They'll pump the market, they will take profits, they will then have their income halved massively. That's like you going to work and having half your earnings cut completely for the exact same task.
You won't go back to work, would you?
No, you wouldn't. So they've got to literally have all that equity stored in a store of value or however they want to do it to keep their facility running whilst that difficulty adjustment readjusts. And every 2 weeks it will readjust on average. And then you've got price action. Price action tends to follow hash rate. If that is going to drop, the price will drop. Therefore, cheaper Bitcoins, and then it will start to increase over time again as people come back into the market. So then obviously more miners will come into the market because it's cheaper to run. So it's a massive complex. We could talk about it in a special episode, which we will probably do about halving probably next week, to talk about it, to let people know what could happen and what's happened in the past in other coins. But the fundamentals are, if you are planning to buy Bitcoin on the 12th or 11th or 10th of May, whenever the estimated time of halving will happen on that block, please be careful, because it may absolutely dump either just before it or after it, because people will try and get it down so then miners can jump back in again. It's going to be a weird event.
We also need to consider that on previous halvings, we've not had a world pandemic that's linked in with a massive economic crash, which is possibly going to happen. So we need to factor that in as well.
That's true. Nice little incentivized, element to it. Oh, I should really take profits just in case my Tesla stock drops.
I was going to mention something about Tesla, but I'll not bother with him. Right, I'm going to last piece of news anyway. So, last piece and the biggest piece of news is the Bitcoin pump this week. So it started on the 29th of April. Was that 3 days ago now? And it pumped up to, what did it pump up to now? Let's get that number accurate. $9,487, which was a $1,769 price raise, which is 22.93%. What a rise come out of nowhere, that didn't
it? Oh, God.
Caught us all by shock.
Oh. We could go on for ages about pump and dumps, which is probably why this is, mentioned on this podcast as the main topic, because it's such an emotional event for the new investor. And I don't want to take the piss, but you've got to experience a few of these moments to get seasoned. And there's all kinds of different coins that have been doing some stupid things, like Hex, for example, which is a proper Ponzi scheme, and the old term is scams pump the hardest, right? They do. And in terms of that news, in terms of what's happening and all kinds of stuff, there's so many factors interlinking and interplay now that we've got halving, we've got a pandemic happening, we've got the stock market rise, we've got all kinds of excitement happening, people buying due to blind faith. So pumps are going to happen. It's the dumps that people don't like, and everyone thinks they're amazing when a pump's happen. Oh, I've called it right. And I hate perma bulls, right? I'm not a bear, but I swing both sides.
You have to flip, don't you, to stay with it? Yeah, I mean, if you're permanently going one way, you're going to get burnt at some point, aren't you?
Yeah. I've always said, and I've been saying it for a while now, I'm bearish until we make a higher high on the weekly. That's just fundamental TA. What you should learn is when you go to the daily or the weekly time frame, you zoom out and you look at what's happening. Well, you're going to find some stuff. If we've turned around at 9.5, which possibly with Bitcoin, and we drop, people will be like, wow, you're freaking awesome. I'm not. It's just obvious it's there. Like, a lot of people are like trying to get people to buy into these pumps, and it's fucking annoying me. Like, all these big influencers, 100,000 plus subscribers on like YouTube, on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Buy the dip. It's not going to go down. It's going to go way beyond 11, 12, 13K. You don't know that yet. You can't just say it's going to go to the moon. And if people who are new are going to buy into that, they're going to get absolutely crushed.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard trying to figure out, especially if you're new as well, what these projects are all about.
Yeah.
You're buying into something that you've seen do a multi% raise. You buy in it, and then you look at it next day and it's gone.
That's the problem. And people buy into the hype. They buy into the marketing. They buy into the hype of YouTubers and stuff. That's why I'm like so measured and realistic. And I'm getting a lot of really nice comments. And if you are listening from this and you've given me them comments, thank you, because it's refreshing. Because whenever I look through YouTube and I put in crypto, I always see the basic stuff, and it's like, oh my fucking days! It's like buy now, buy now, buy. It's like hypnotization, and it does my head in. And ultimately, we've already covered it. We've got a pandemic. We've got halving. It's a bearish event. Just be careful. If it goes to the moon, yeah, I don't care. Why? I'm still holding. I've not panic sold. I've not done anything stupid. I hold regardless. If I want to make money, I go into my trading account and I press the short button. Happy days, I win. But if it goes the other way, I won't put the short on anyways, and I'll crack on and I'm still holding, and I'll go and buy some beers in Asda or something, whatever. But the fundamentals are, we'll talk about this in more detail, but emotions are unbelievable when it comes to any sort of like rises in price action. And I'm already waiting for the world to go crazy in crypto when Bitcoin makes a higher high, because everyone's going to get excited again.
Let's talk. Use hashtag Crypto Mobcast to join in.
I want to have a little talk about first, before we go on to buying into the pumps, is the actual pump and dump schemes that have been running for quite a while. I'm just going to give you a little explanation to people who have, if you're new to crypto or if you've not been involved in a pump and dump before, I just want to let you know exactly what it is. So a pump and dump scheme is an activity organised by a group of traders whereby the price is artificially inflated by a group. So that's by FOMO or fake news, or Donald Trump's favourite one, lying about what's going on in projects, something's coming up and it's not. But so once a price has been inflated, the next step is to entice other traders outside of a group to buy, which CT, so at Crypto Twitter, you can see it all over. You can see it on all the low cap coins when we're getting pumped by Heavy Man and his dog. So those in the group then exit positions once all the new investors have bought in, and therefore resulting in a price crashing, and those who entered late being left on the losing side of the position. That's happened throughout the years since I've been in crypto. I wasn't part of one, but I was one of those investors who bought into coins when I first got into crypto in the early days, and we've all done it. I'm guess you've done it as well, Ash. We've all been in them, and you get wrecked, but you ain't got a clue, have you? And it will keep happening. No matter, it can happen on the big caps. People could create FOMO, they could create fake news, make you buy in. Next day, it's down 50%, and half your money's gone.
Yeah, we'll go into the main topic, right, of pump and dumps, and this is a start point. And in terms of this, all this is just to kind of drum it into a real simple format. It is a group that literally tell you buy a coin at said price, it's going to go to the moon. It creates excitement, hype, all kinds of magical stuff that involves green stuff, which is money. And a lot of this is like, oh, look at this past result and amazing. But the fundamental flaw is the people that are orchestrating this have their buy orders in already. They have their sell orders in. All they need is a move of like 2 to 3% to get a lot of equity back, right? Because they've got to move the market originally. When they've moved the market, they need more liquidity, more volume in the market to get it to higher price points. They're identified. If you've got a big enough group, and I don't want to say this, but I'm going to mention a YouTuber, Superman. You've probably heard of him. He's pretty well known. In 2017-18, he would do live streams, right? And he'd like do a presentation and a little orchestra of how amazing this coin is. It's going to be fucking the bollocks, right? It always, every single time when you watch his streams or you go back in time and you look at the price points, it would increase because people are FOMOing into that. That isn't a pump and dump scheme. That is just how markets work. When you've got buyers, prices go up. So if you can orchestrate a ton of people into one sheep pen and get them all to bloody run around like headless chickens pressing the buy button, it's going to create a price pump. So if you've got like, if you've fallen down the little Reddit loophole and the rabbit holes of all kinds of stuff of like, oh, join this group, it's a free Telegram group, we're going to pump a coin on the 30th of March. It's like, what? So just be careful. If you knew, the prices of money is always going to be there. But like what Andy says, I've not been a part of one as such, but I've seen so many that have always been advertised in the Crypto Mob group. I've seen them always advertised in Telegram. And I look at them and I laugh, and I see it on my YouTube now in comments like, oh, join this pump and dump group. Join Yobit. Yobit do it all the time. It's an exchange. It's an absolute scam exchange. But it's part of the world of investing in crypto, and it happens in the real traditional markets as well, where they put news on Yahoo and they get people to buy these hot stocks, hot penny stocks, hot this, hot that. It's bollocks, right? It's just there to pump a coin, get interest, and get people to buy into the hype of a price rise, and that's it. And ultimately, if you're new and inexperienced and you don't understand what a stop loss is, you don't understand what any sort of risk management is, or any sort of like use case of a coin, you're going to get absolutely slaughtered. And in crypto, if you lose 50%, you've lost half your money. Simple as that.
What I was going to mention is all these, well, majority of the pump and dump groups focus on the low cap coins, where the biggest potential of a rise can come from. So, like I told you all that I used to be part of Mint Coin when I first started into crypto, and that was one of the nano caps that were down, I don't know, plus 1,500 places down the bottom, and that was trading. I think it was below 1 sat. The teams come in, you can see them when you're in Telegram groups, they come in, hundreds of them, shilling the hell out of a project, and then goes all over Twitter, goes all over Facebook, everybody's buying in. You can see mechanically how everything's working step by step. All these new bloody graphics getting created, videos, loads of marketing. I don't know where it comes from, but and then randomly the price just shoots up. And what do? You try and sell it, but by the time you try and get there, it's already all back down to zero again.
Yeah, it's horrible. And my email inbox, honestly, it's unbelievable. The amount of shite I get from these random coin projects, and they're all linked to bounty programs where they're going to give people money to like create graphics, create like banners and stuff, and create that FOMO effect. And yeah, it comes to my email box. Oh, do you want to promote this coin? No, do I? Hell.
You mentioned Yobit earlier on, and I must have joined Yobit years ago when, I don't know what, maybe buying some crap like Putin coin or something daft. And I still get the email. I had an email the other day, and the email says at the very top, Yobit pumping 16 hours.
Yeah.
And then it gives you a list of all the coins that they're going to pump. And I've never heard any of them. Panda, Smart, Yoda, Frog Coin. It's like,
that's an exchange for you.
That is.
It's crazy.
I can't believe it's still going, Yobit.
I know, it's amazing. It's holding pump and dumps. Obviously, it's doing well.
Yeah.
It's scary. But in terms of emotion, let's talk about emotion now, because we've obviously had a Bitcoin pump and Ethereum pump, and they're obviously legit, right? Obviously, you can have artificial pumps of fake news, as Andy mentioned, in terms of like there could be something like a partnership that comes out that is a little bit, not so much skeptical, but let's just say exaggerated, right? As in like, oh, I don't know, let's think of a random coin. Sausage coin is paired up with some like massive merchant, right? But it might not be that true. It's true in a way that they're on something, but they're not. Actually, going back to an example in the group, there was a coin that was mentioned in the group. Oh, what was it called? I can't remember. Some blockchain thing, right? Anyways, I'll crack on. They've got links to like all these partnerships. Like R3 is one of them, right? R3 is a massive, massive consortium of absolute everything.
I mentioned it today, didn't I? God, what is it now?
I can't remember what it's called. But with that, anyone can apply to be in their partnership program. But what they do is they apply to be in the partnership program. They're a part of the partnership. Then they put like a news article saying, oh, this blockchain company is now partnered with R3 Partnership Development. It looks really good as an investor. Oh my God, they're partnered with R3. Well, in reality, anyone can apply for that and get in their market space. And then it's an artificial pump, and it really annoys me because all these altcoins are like do it, and there's a lot of them that do it, that they claim that they are part of a company, they're part of like some sort of like overall group, and they're not. Like the Ethereum ones, some of the Ethereum coins, the ERC20 coins, claim that they're in the Ethereum Alliance. The Ethereum Alliance is totally different to, being a part of an ERC20, and they put that on their website when they're not. And it really fucks me off, and it's an instant red flag in my view. And people are like, oh, but it's in the Ethereum Alliance. Is it? Where? Show me. It's a logo on the website, right? Go to the Ethereum Alliance website and email them and ask for confirmation first. Half of the time, they're like, oh, you were right, actually. There's no actual trace of it online. Well, obviously, because they fucking made it up. So when you look at those emotions, and then you got like obviously shillers of Twitter, Facebook, and when these news come out of their main page but not off the partner page, it always raises red flags until you see the likes of Walmart confirming that the likes of VeChain, which has happened by the way, is a part of their group. Take it as legit. If you only see VeChain, for example, say that they're with Walmart, look and wait and see if the Walmart group will announce it. They did. It's fine. Like VeChain, in my eyes, is one of the better altcoins you can jump in because of their partnership program. But ultimately, there's like all these smaller, lower cap coins that are like trying to get like the head of the game. They're executing their ideas and all kinds of stuff. But they will create fake news to create a pump. And more often than not, when it kind of runs up and it keeps going, then you've got bag holders, which are usually the team who will then dump on you. And I'll probably go into that in more detail in a minute. But yeah, there's so many working parts to cryptocurrency, and you've got to be careful. And this is why the old sentiment of buying low and selling high is always good. And when you look at the likes of Bitcoin now, and everyone's getting really, really excited about this one big $1,000 candle. Everyone forgets about the $1,000 candle the other way the second day. As in, we went to 9.5, then we went all the way down to 8.5. We're now stabilized around 8,900. But ultimately, people start to lose their emotions, their mind, and they get really excited and they start telling everyone about it.
FOMO.
And then when they tell someone,
That's FOMO.
yeah, it's unbelievable. And they'll tell the friend that they work with, oh, I've just look at Bitcoin, I'm up £200. Yeah. Oh, bollocks, right. And then their friend will then go and do their KYC bollocks on Coinbase or whatever. Oh, I've just bought it. 9,400. They wake up the next day. Mate, fucking hell, I'm down fucking 45 quid. What are you doing? It happens all the time. And I do laugh. I shouldn't laugh. I'm supposed to be professional in this environment. But when people get excited, I'm like, just wait. You're not going to go into that rocket ship and go to the moon in 1 second. It's not going to happen. And everyone's emotions are like, oh, what do I do? I've missed the boat, haven't I? No, you've not. Just chill out. Just wait for 5 minutes. Have a condo moment. Freaking hell. But I think emotions, amazing.
Yeah, I think the issue these days is not just with crypto, but in general life. Everybody wants things doing in the click of a thing. Everybody wants everything doing for them. Everybody wants things doing instantly. And it's the same with making money. Everybody wants to open a trade at 50 quid and be the wolf of Wall Street the day after. That is the issue. People don't want to put much money into it, especially if they don't know what it is without researching.
People see the end product of someone's journey, not the journey. Like they're seeing that with me in terms of how I built my portfolio, like the end of 2017 and into 2018. People saw that and wanted that. And I was like warning people, man, this is so high, just freaking chill out. But people just like don't give a shit and they don't care. And it's the likes of like the YouTube influencers, like you're seeing their journey from starting with no subscribers to what they've got now. They've built that up over a period of years, and people want to be a part of that and earn what they earn and do what they do. But ultimately, as a new investor, you can't match that. You've got to do it the long game. And investing is, and it always will be, boring. It's like watching paint dry. It should take time. It should be a long, drawn-out process. And a lot of people are getting excited about one green candle. And that one green candle was one day. In the bull run, the bull run, that was happening for like 6 weeks straight. It was just crazy. It was unbelievable how many green days it was. You're just flying up, keep on going. And the emotions obviously led to people making some really bad choices. I myself included, like jumped on the bandwagon a bit too hard on some of them and got caught out and lost money. But it's all part of the learning process and it's all about having profits. And I always maintained, and I've learned this from a long time ago, you invest the capital you want to risk, then you diversify with profits only. So if you're in the stock market, you would only buy, say, 4 or 5 stocks that are like the best ones out there, the ones that are slow at generating positive income over time and they pay good dividends. If they pop and explode and do well, you take some profits out and then you buy the more lower down, riskier stocks that could give you multiples. It's the exact same for crypto. Lower down you go, the more the multiples will be. But people tend to forget that. And we could talk for ages about emotion, but emotion's that one thing that no one can teach. You cannot teach. I could teach someone how to buy a coin at a better price, but I cannot teach people how to literally run with it, the emotion side of it, of how to hold on or how to do this, that, and the other. And all that kind of stuff is kind of unteachable. I don't know what you think about emotion, but I could go on for ages about how it goes, but I don't know how you deal with it. So how do you deal with emotion, if you could?
Our lass has always told me I've got no emotions. She says, "You never seem to be sad. You never seem to be happy. You never seem." I'm just the same all the time, and I think that moves across to crypto. I mean, if I know where I've placed my trade and where I want it to go, and I've researched it and checked it all out and done like a full investigation, if it loses, I'm not bothered because I've done the best I can. If it flies, then I'm happy. But I'm quite an emotionless person, me really, which works well with crypto. And I think it works well with life, like with my current job being in forces. That ties in quite well with it as well. But yeah, that's my thought on it. Emotions with it.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I do have more emotion, but I trade the way I am, as in I don't like spending lots of money.
I'm
And
same. I'm from Yorkshire. I don't spend that much money, right?
that's the thing. Like I see people that do really like not so much risky trades, but the trades that I wouldn't do. So I look for the more obvious, better trades that are going to give me that nicer kind of return over time. So I could wait for a trade. I've got patience. I'm patient. I'm not bothered about running in and jumping. I'll wait for the right move. And that kind of goes with my investing. I will wait a long time to confirm that it is going up or down. And I get it all the time in the paid group that why don't you trade this? It's not my thing. It's not my style. I like to go for the obvious and the easy, and then I can manage it and I can put more equity in there because I know it's going to work out. And bottom line is everyone's different. You got the risky people that like taking risk and jump. They like to jump in front of buses and stuff like that in normal day. That'll portray in their cryptocurrency investing. You got the people that are careful, cautious. You got the people that are quite tight and they'll only put $5 in Bitcoin, $5 in Ethereum, and hope to become a millionaire, which is not going to happen. You obviously yourself got no emotions, where you're probably a serial killer in your spare time. All that, all that kind of like oddness.
I think my
But
I think my issue is the selling part. So I can happily go into a trade and I can move a stop loss up and watch it, but sometimes I'm just thinking, what if it just goes that little bit further? And then that is
it's just
emotional.
greed.
It's like, do I take it out? Do I keep it in? And then you kind of get like, oh, I'm a bit greedy here, but
Yeah, it's greed.
it is greed. Yeah, that's probably the worst emotion that you can have.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we're all greedy. Everybody wants more, don't we?
Everyone wants more bacon in the sandwich. Let's be honest.
Oh,
Like,
we do. I
you
agree, right? Yeah.
but I've been in the situation of greed before, where 2017, 18. Wow, I made so much money. I should have just went. I'm walking. I should have just done an about turn and fucked off, but I didn't. I held on a bit too long and it dropped massively. But you live and learn, and that is probably the greatest lesson I've ever experienced in life. And like, you will learn, like everyone will be on about this thinking, right, what can I learn from crypto that will change my life? Everything. Like everything that you do, buy and low will give you patience. Being able to hold on will give you that self assurance that you can last in an investment where, like, a lot of people want to take profits too early. They're like, oh my God, I'm at 5%. I'm going to take the profits. Just wait. Just wait and see what happens because that's only 5%. If, however, then you're up 50%, 500%, stupid levels, which is always going to happen at some point in life, you've got to then learn from that, and everything that you do will become a learning outcome, and you'll learn from it. And like the emotion that I'm seeing all the time now is like people trying to FOMO, and FOMO is probably the worst thing you could have. I think between FOMO and greed, I think they are very much hand in hand. You've got one where the FOMO is I want to buy, but you've also got the FOMO of selling. Fuck, I need to get out of here. This building's too hot. I need to go. Like fear of missing out of like what's going to happen if it doesn't carry on going off, if it drops. But greed is the opposite, where you're greedy and you're thinking, well, what if it goes up to freaking £2 million? I'm bloody buggered, aren't I? You got to think of all kinds of stuff like that, and it's hard. And people think that investing's easy, but it's not. And like they just jump in, and cryptocurrencies are worse for it because a lot of new investors are here, and this is a freaking ferocious market. And you're looking at the stock market and you're seeing certain things move. They don't move half as much as crypto at all. Like, I don't know what your feeling is on that, but people use the stock market as an example, and it does move. But when you're investing in crypto, it's like, oh my God, it's like, it's a different beast. It's an animal.
You can get thousands of percent per day up and down in some of the lower caps. It's completely different to stocks. I've invested in stocks before, and you're moving 0.5% a day and up and down, and it's a long slog trying to get some money out of the stock market.
But it requires a lot of research. It's the same as crypto in a way. It works the same. You do your research. You look at like the total information that you've got on the screen, and it's all about it's patience. It really is. And if you believe that you have bought a stock that is undervalued, you can portray that in the cryptocurrency world. If you feel it's overvalued, you won't buy it. So, for example, XRP. If XRP is over $3, you're probably thinking, well, what am I doing? But people don't think like that. New investors don't think, and they think, well, Mr. YouTube guy has just told me that XRP is going to go to $10 in the next month. I'm going to buy it $3. I'm going to get a nice 2x gain. I'm going to sit on the beach and think bollocks to my work. It doesn't work like that. It really doesn't. If you've missed the ride from 10 cents up to $3, you've missed the boat, my friend. And that's the hardest thing to explain to someone. And then you become the enemy, and you're like pissing on people's chips because I'm like doing a YouTube video saying that, hold on a minute, guys, it's a bit bearish over time. It could become quite bearish over time. Sorry, I'll get words out. Whereas, why didn't you invest at $100? Well, I didn't know about it then. Why do you know about it now? Because my friend from down the road told me he bought Ethereum at $200 and I should buy it too because it's going to go back to all-time high. It may never happen. And if you're a new investor and you're like, well, hey, $200, you wake up the next day, 150. Oh my God. You're like, oh,
you're human,
right. So I've just lost £400. Thanks, mate. That is cryptocurrency as a pump and dump in a nutshell. And you got to go with the pumps and you got to go with the dumps. And this is why I always say, if you're trading or if you've got an investment, leave your investment alone. Just buy it low.
You need to separate them both. Don't you? You need to have your trading pot separate to your investment bag, because if you start going to your investment bag, that's when you're starting to get wrecked.
Yeah, agreed. And
what I think the biggest lesson to learn from it all, or probably the best, what can I say, the best experience is to actually go through a pump and dump, because you know it inside out, man. You've been through that feeling. You've had them emotions of watching it go up and watching it go down. That is the best experience you can get from from anything, really. You're not going to know what it's like until you've been through it.
Yeah, the more you do, the better it becomes. And I'm going to recall what happened in March, and March was the only one in, like, obviously my first few were like, oh my god, Bitcoin has just dropped like fuck. I remember my first one. I remember investing in 2016, and I was quite happy. I was like, oh, I'm up quite a bit here. I started putting more money in, and this was when Bitcoin was like in the early thousands. And I remember, I think it was summer 2017, before the real bull run kicked in. We went from $4,000, and I was like, oh my god, I've got like so much thousand. This is crazy. And I was like, this is amazing. This is awesome. It just keeps on going up, and it dropped like a stone. It like dropped like 30% in a night. I was like, oh my freaking god, my whole portfolio was obliterated. That was my first one that went, oh god, that was pretty horrible. But I also bought more. Right, I was confident in my investment. I was happy with it, and I already did enough research to understand what Bitcoin was all about. And I was happy to invest a bit more. I didn't put loads in, but I bought at the dip, and that was like a nice confirmation moment for me, knowing that I've been through a few little months of these little pumps and dumps, but that was the severe one. The one in March this year, where we dropped 55% or whatever it was crazy. That was the only one recently that made my stomach turn a little bit, going, oh my God, that's crazy. And the biggest problem with that was I didn't react fast enough, and that was my biggest problem this time. I didn't have my tether on an exchange because I didn't think it would just bounce back up, and it did. And I was expecting that massive 50% drop with COVID-19, all kinds of horrible stuff going around in the world at the minute, would stay in and around those levels for longer to then recapture that sort of thought process of, right, let's see what happens. But overnight, it went from, 3,700 back up to 5,000, 6,000 again very, very quickly. So what I would say is anyone new, literally, the more you see, the more you understand in terms of like how to react. But the reaction is not to sell. If you're an investor, you should be buying those big dumps. You'll see them. They're obvious. Like if Bitcoin drops 20% in a day, it's like, oh, hello. It's the same with a pump. If something has to pump like 150% in a matter of 2 months, you should be looking at taking profits because there will be a downturn. Nothing goes straight up. And that's where my biggest problem was in the past, where I wouldn't take profits as quickly. And now I do. So you will learn from it. And Andy's right in terms of like all the other emotions that you got. You got FOMO, you got greed, you got everything. But until you experience it, we can't really help until you know yourself. What are you like in one of those?
I agree. There's nothing better than your own experience. You need to go through it, don't you? Otherwise, you're just never going to know what it's like. It's going to get to a point where you're waiting for so long for something to happen. So, for example, you buy Bitcoin now, and you wait a year, and then it automatically just drops by 50%. You're going to think, shit, what's going on here? But if you've had that knowledge while it's at a low price, you're going to be in a good stead for future.
Well, there's a lot of people that have bought Bitcoin over, well, you'd probably say 16, 17, 18,000, right? They were probably sitting in their bags and have never been in profit, which is scary. Same with Ethereum.
I asked a question the other week. I'm not sure if I asked it you or I asked somebody else, but how many people do you think are still holding Bitcoin who bought at 20 grand? Who was a new investor? Have they sold out and gone, or have they just kept it there and it's worth pennies now? It's just, you think, bloody hell.
That's the thing. Like, you don't know what people's mindset is, and like I know you just wouldn't. I know people that bought at that level and then have vanished. They're not in the industry anymore. They just think, oh, what a waste of time. And that's a problem with the FOMO side of it, and that's a problem with adoption that we're going to experience as well as we go through these bullish cycles and bearish cycles. We're going to pick up some new people on the way. If Bitcoin goes from 10K now or whatever up to 30, 40K as a possible area, and we go from 40K all the way back down to 10K, how many people will be in at 30K thinking, this is amazing, we're going to go up to 250,000 because Tim Draper said so. You got all that. Then a bigger snowball effect going to happen where more people are like, oh, this cryptocurrency is rubbish, I'm out here. that will happen, and that's the scariest thing about it. And nothing goes straight up, and new investors don't actually understand or know that.
That's the issue, isn't it? People come into a market who are brand new, coming for the fresh money, seem to see all the massive rise of them. That's here they get taken out straight away by whales. It's a slight bit of manipulation, man, that brings them all in and then takes them out in the same candle, don't they?
They do.
Quite annoying the way it is, but again, it's experience, and I think we've got that now. So hopefully, all listeners can gain a bit of this knowledge that we've had and try and focus that onto what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, I agree. So, closing thoughts before we wrap this up. If you're new and you feel that it is overpriced, wait. Don't risk what you can't afford. Don't listen to idiots who are claiming it's going to be the best thing since sliced bread and you're going to make a ton of money very quickly. They're usually red flags. If there's any project that has earnings tied to it, you will make X amount of gains on this. It's a red flag. Don't touch it. Same with YouTubers. Like, I'm a YouTuber. Most people know me, obviously. If you've got someone who's trying to sell you a coin based off a presentation or whatever, and it looks a bit suspect, it's probably a paid shill and you shouldn't trust it. There's all kinds of other emotions that you'll go through as well. You'll have all kinds of different tingly feelings that you'll probably never experienced before. And if you've bought in high, you'll know about it. But if you're a long-term investor, just wait, stay the course and stuff like that. But if you're looking to accumulate on the daily time frame using certain methods that are quite easy to learn, just have that separate, and then you can't get tied up in the emotions of the long-term game. So there we go. I think we're done. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah.
Catch you later.
Don't lose all your money.
Thank you for tuning in. Join us here at the same time next Sunday.